US President Donald Trump has shifted a rare cabinet meeting planned for Wednesday at his Camp David retreat to the White House because of bad weather. Now, the meeting at the secluded lodge in the Maryland Hills, which Trump has only visited once in his second term, was expected to focus on talks to end the war with Iran. The meeting comes as tensions escalate in West Asia. Iran has accused the US of violating an already fragile ceasefire and warns that it is ready to retaliate after the US hit Iranian targets in what it describes as self-defense strikes. Describing the US action a gross violation of the ceasefire, Iranian Foreign Ministry says that the country will not leave any evil unanswered, as the statement pointed to the strikes in southern Iran. Iran did not immediately confirm the reported strikes, but the country's state media reported that explosions were heard in Bandar Abbas city near the Strait of Hormuz. Iran's Mehr news agency said that the situation in the city was under control and that there was no cause for concern. Now, the overnight US strikes targeted Iranian missile sites and mine-laying boats in south of Iran. The renewed US strikes come at a time when Washington and Tehran struggle to reach a potential peace agreement. As the security situation continues to evolve, Iran's Supreme Leader Ayatollah Mojtaba Khamenei says that the US is losing its influence in West Asia, and he has warned that the countries in the region should not host US bases. In a written statement, Iran's Supreme Leader said the hands of time will not turn backward, and the nations and lands of the region will no longer serve as shields for American bases. The statement added that Washington will no longer have any safe point in the region for aggression or establishment of military bases. Meanwhile, Iranian President Pezeshkian has hailed the Iranian military's response against US strikes.
They did not imagine that our armed forces, our defensive power and our offensive system could perform such feats. It was a completely surprising matter for all of them.
And China has also urged both sides to respect the ongoing truce and resolve the dispute peacefully.
We urge the parties concerned to fulfill their ceasefire commitments, resolve disputes through peaceful means, continue to work toward a solution that takes into account the legitimate concerns of all parties through dialogue and negotiation, and promote the early restoration of peace in the Middle East and Gulf region.
Well, reacting to the US military strikes on Iran, US Secretary of State Marco Rubio said that the Strait of Hormuz must remain open, and he asserted that the US would ensure its reopening one way or another. Rubio also expressed optimism about reaching an agreement with Iran.
And it's going to take a couple days to settle on, even down to the disagreements over a word, sentence. So we'll have to work through that. If there's going to be a deal, we're going to have to work through that. But this is, it's either going to be a good deal or there isn't going to be one.
As peace deal talks remain underway, Trump has demanded a resolution to the issue of enriched uranium inside Iran, which has been a key sticking point. Trump, on his Truth Social network, said that he expected Iran to hand over its enriched uranium to the United States to be destroyed, or they can have it destroyed within Iran, but with an international witness. And there's more on this from our US correspondent, Susan Tehran, who sent us this report.
President Trump will now hold Wednesday's cabinet meeting at the White House instead of Camp David after citing possible bad weather conditions. His entire cabinet is expected to be there, including outgoing DNI Tulsi Gabbard. The meeting comes as tensions with Iran continues to rise following recent U.S. quote self-defense strikes on Iranian missile sites and boats in the Strait of Hormuz. Iran has called the attack a grave violation of the ceasefire and warned that it will retaliate or respond to any further aggression. At the same time, Secretary of State Marco Rubio says that talks with Tehran are still underway, but stressed that President Trump wants either a good deal or no deal at all. The White House says that foreign policy and the Iran conflict will be major topics during that meeting at the White House as the administration weighs its next steps in the Middle East. Susan Tehrani reporting from New York for WION World is One.